Hello and welcome back to Internalize the podcast. Back after a week for once. There's no real delay, there's no gap. Although this is being recorded very close to the end of the day, which is not exactly my best moment. But hey, what can you do? Things have to happen, and things will either happen late or happen early. But yeah, anyway, today I want to talk about my music. I want to give some updates on my music situation, on the things that I've been working on in the music world, on the kind of music that I like to make, that I'm making right now. Uh, Honestly, this idea came to me because of, um, you know, initially when the podcast was started, it used to be primarily about myself and my updates, my thoughts, that kind of thing. And then I transitioned it slowly towards the sort of factual tech-based blog. And actually, I don't know if it remained the same for the podcast. I can't really put my finger on when the podcast was exactly started, but anyway, this I want to have a sort of throwback episode. For one, I didn't really have much to talk about in the tech world. Perhaps the Galaxy Fold, that could be an interesting topic for next week. But anyway, I thought this would be an interesting podcast episode after a string of sort of vaguely tech related slash productivity related episodes. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So I want to talk about three main, I guess, projects that I'm doing. First off is my tabla. Second is the covers that I'm releasing on YouTube, and third is original music that I'm working on. All these three are sort of the main things that I do in the music world. Although there are some extra things, that I guess overlaps, so to speak. It's sort of difficult to explain, but it's yeah, that's all. Basically, yeah. So tabla. Anyway, if you're not aware, tabla is an Indian drum. It's the main percussion instrument in a lot of North Indian music. It's the main percussion instrument in a style of music, classical music called Hindustani classical. That comes primarily from the north, has a lot of Persian influence, etc. And yeah, I've been learning classical tabla for a long time. I've been learning tabla for 10 years now, which is really insane to think about, considering that means that I've been learning tabla for longer than I have not been learning tabla. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I've been learning tabla for the majority of my life, which is insane to think about because it feels like I started like very, very early. I mean, not very early, very recently. It doesn't feel like I really know enough for me to justify the the 10 years of learning. But hey, I guess that's what happens when you learn new things, right? You sort of realize that you don't know anything about anything the more you learn about something. But anyway, I think apparently, according to my teacher, I have the qualifications now to teach people. I have a senior diploma. Basically, in if you learn a Western instrument, you have like grades and stuff, right? For things like piano and stuff from colleges like LCM. Uh, for me, the senior diploma sort of equivalent to a grade 8. So yeah, I think I can technically teach, which is pretty cool. But right now I'm preparing for my Visharad Tabla exam, which is effectively a doctorate. I mean, not doctorate, diploma. I mixed up the degree starting with the letter D. I'm preparing for my Visharad Tabla exam, which is again, yeah, it's, I guess it's effective. It's a diploma. It's not really a degree because I'm just doing it over like 1 or 2 years, but it's not exactly a diploma in this. I think it is a diploma because at the end of it I can do a master's in music, but I don't exactly have a bachelor's in music either. uh so yeah, the thing is though, so that's what I'm working on right now. I've been working on it for the last 2 years because the Visharad exam is like unlike anything I've ever written before. The syllabus for one is absolutely massive. I have 4 papers to write, which is literally double of what I used to have. I used to have just one theory and one practical exam. Now I have two practical and two theory exam, which is absolutely insane to think about. And yeah, it's basically doubled between my senior diploma and Visharad exams. Usually it increases by like, I don't know, 10%, maybe 15%. And if it's like really bad, like 20%. Now it's literally doubled, maybe even more than doubled. So yeah, it's usually I've taken around a year to prepare for each exam. Like I'll do the junior diploma, the next year I do senior diploma part one, then the year after that I do senior diploma part two, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's bonkers this year because yeah, I have to do everything in. I have to do. I took double the time for a syllabus that's double the length. Secondly, the structure itself is pretty different. Usually, in the tabla exam, what used to happen is that I would go into the exam hall. I would, speak about myself, that kind of thing. I would play one item, and that one item would be prepared. That would be the sort of piece de resistance that's supposed to showcase my talents and my skills in the subject, and that's what we call the choice item. So basically, the choice item had to show your grip over the instrument, as well as tal, which is time signature, which is, yeah, I guess that's the parallel you can make with Western, and lay, which is tempo. That is basically your rhythmic ability. Now, instead of that, I need to actually present a whole item, like a whole presentation with like four or five different items. Instead of a single choice presentation, it's a full on presentation. It's like a concert just for the examiner, which is pretty crazy. Usually, on top of the choice presentation in previous exams, the examiner would ask certain questions. They'll say, play this item in this tal, or compose something and play it, or play a lehra, blah, blah, blah. But here, honestly, it's it's not given as much importance. The main importance is to the main piece, the main item that you're playing. And thirdly, the syllabus itself is super different. Before, it was basically purely classical tabla that I had to play, and that was fine, because as much as the things I learned was new, I was very comfortable with classical music. I had a very good grip over it. I knew what classical music entailed and how to play tabla for it. Now I have to show proficiency in the instrument in not only classical but also other styles of music. I have to play it with the fusion, in a fusion setting, as an accompaniment in classical dance and vocals, which is something I've never done, considering I've previously purely done solo presentations. And you're even supposed to show that you're able to play other rhythmic instruments. So for your tabla exam, you have to play like three instruments, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, that's how it's going. I mean, that's the thing I'm working on. It's going on. It's a bit of a push right now. Things are getting a little complicated because I'm doing a lot of new things, like, very rapidly. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's going good, and I hope that it'll keep going like this, I suppose. Next up, covers. So if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and if you're not, I encourage you to subscribe, because every week I post a video. Uh, I released a cover of Phineas's song Shelter. This was a little bit of an experiment, honestly, because previously the kind of content I released was very ambiguous, but it was mostly informative content. I never really did this kind of straight out music content, at least barring that one song titled Dusk. It's the first legitimate piece of music I've released. So I mean, not my music, but it's the first legitimate cover that I've released, and I was kind of worried what people would think. And it was also the first time I'd sang on a song, which was incredibly nerve wracking, because yeah, I hadn't sung in like a long time. I don't really like how my voice sounds. I toyed with the idea of releasing it just with the original vocal stem, but eventually I decided against it. And I'm honestly happy that I did, because I think it would be kind of bland if it just had the old vocal stems. And yeah, thirdly, I wanted to do the song justice, and I was pretty nervous that I wouldn't be able to do so. Actually, making the cover was pretty fun though. This is the first time in a long time that I could just sit and produce for a long period of time without really thinking of songwriting or composition. As much as I like composition, it does get a little bit tiring. So having the break to just go purely into my USP, I suppose, which is my production skills, honestly, it was pretty fun. It was also the first time that I recorded acoustic instruments. Like recorded like multiple different acoustic instruments, like a cajon, a ukulele, an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar. It was all, none of it was MIDI. It was all cleanly recorded, which was also incredible. It was a great learning experience, and I really loved doing that. And yeah, that's fun. There's more covers on the way for sure. I have a ton of songs that I want to cover, and I'm, yeah, just getting things in order. I'm working on a cover by Taylor Swift. I mean, not by Taylor Swift, cover of a song by Taylor Swift called "You're on Your Own, Kid" from Midnight's, the second most recent album. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how it'll turn out. I'm actually using a new DAW for that as well. I'm using GarageBand after a long time because I felt a little limited by the 8 track limit for Ableton Live. But things also going well, pretty fun. All but you shouldn't expect me to become a through and through cover artist because I really love writing music. As much as writing music gets exhausting, I really love doing it. It's one of my, I don't know, it's just great creative relief. It's just so fun. So, original music also coming soon actually. I've been working quite a lot on some original music. I have a couple of songs written that have to be worked on further, but there is a pretty solid foundation on top of which I can work on fairly easily. So these songs have lyrics for the first time, and it's the first time in a long time that I've actually ever, I think, that I've ever released a song with lyrics. And yeah, it's so incredibly hard. You never really know A, what you're thinking, and B, how you want to put it across. It's slow, it's iterative, and that's something I really, I'm just not used to. I'm used to having an idea and throwing it down on the computer as fast as possible. This is a completely new experience. The main reason I actually started the whole lyrics thing is because I started a specialization a few months back by Berklee College of Music called the DIY Musician. It has 4 courses, and I finished the second one just today actually. And the second one was about music production, while the first one was about songwriting specifically. And that was pretty fun. It's great having a project to work on while learning new things. Honestly, just having that learning while doing experience, something I'm a big proponent of. It's is awesome, and the course itself provided a sort of accountability that pushed me to create the first song with A, vocals, and B, lyrics. And yeah, pushed me right outside of my comfort zone. But I want to be there more often. I want to write more songs. I want to write more songs with more lyrics. And yeah, these songs, the 2 songs, will probably be part of the summer EP that I had envisioned last year. If you, not last year, the year before even. If you if you've been keeping up with the blog, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I can finally get that done because I think I have a track already, and I'll have 2 more tracks by the end of this. So Dusk, I don't know about Dawn. I think it depends on how I produce it, and Night will be done. So I by the end of this year, hopefully, the summer EP should be out. I was hoping that I could release it in summer, but I think that would not be very good. A, for my creative, like my mental sanity, as well as my college application. But yeah, that's all for this week. My musical journey looks to be going in a pretty good direction. I'm pretty happy with how I'm doing musically as well. I'm having a lot of fun making music, and I want to make so much more. And I'm really excited. And yeah, I hope you have fun. I hope you make music yourself actually. And yeah, that's all for today, and I will catch you next week. See you.